Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
We begin with breaking news. A former UND professor has signed a settlement agreement with the North Dakota Board of Social Work following complaints filed against him. Andrew Quinn signed a settlement Monday that revoked his social work license after he was accused of using his position at UND to get involved in a romantic relationship with a student. Officials from the board say a revoked license does not have a waiting period before someone can reapply. More breaking news as the North Dakota Department of Health says it is actively monitoring 3 people in the state who could have been exposed to the coronavirus. The health department says no cases have been confirmed in North Dakota, but 3 people have returned to the state from China and could have been exposed to the virus overseas. The 3 people being monitored are voluntarily distancing themselves from the general public and are being checked on every day by health officials. This evening, we're watching the latest developments on the deadly coronavirus out of China. The first Americans who were airlifted from Wuhan province are being released from quarantine today as another U.S. case is confirmed. Tracy Potts has the latest from Washington.
With more than 1,000 now dead of coronavirus in China,
this outbreak is spreading much more quickly than SARS did.
The Centers for Disease Control reports 13 mild cases here in the U.S., including one just diagnosed in San Diego.
And the U.S. situation is very different than what we're seeing in China. We do not have widespread transmission here in the United States.
195 people who were on the first flight out of Wuhan are expected to be released from quarantine today with no symptoms.
And everyone within the cohort passed their health screening.
I'm going to open the door and say hi to them real quick.
But there are still Americans stuck on this cruise ship outside Japan where passengers have fallen sick.
We take our temperatures a few times a day.
President Trump in New Hampshire last night.
I spoke with President Xi, and they're working very, very hard. And I think it's going to all work out fine. Rough stuff, I tell you, rough stuff.
Rough and costly. Lawmakers question why the administration is not asking for emergency funds while pitching a $35 million cut to the CDC.
This is the fund currently being used to respond to the coronavirus outbreak.
300 scientists on a call today with the World Health Organization want to fast-track tests, drugs, and vaccines.
There is still so much we don't know.
And still so many waiting to be told they're not sick.
One state is taking the lead. Today, Illinois became the first state to do its own testing with a 24-hour turnaround so they don't have to wait for results from the CDC. Police are asking for your help identifying a man involved in a robbery at a Fargo liquor store. Authorities say it happened on October 31st of last year at Royal Liquors on Main Avenue. The robber was wearing a white mask and a black hooded sweatshirt with a white logo on the front. They stole cash and showed a firearm. If you have any information on this person or the robbery, you can call the tip line 701-241-5777. Today, beautiful. Tomorrow, blizzard. There are some big changes coming our way before we wake up tomorrow. Let's get the latest from Hutch, who's here with your No Wait weather planner. Hutch?
Andrea, as we told you early last week, we've been watching tomorrow's weather for some time, and here is what we know. First and foremost, overnight tonight, we're going to see some clouds increase. Snow develops by late this evening as we're heading to bed, coming with a south wind overnight. And into the daybreak hours, the wind increases out of the north, causing blizzard conditions. After 1 to 4 inches of snowfall, it will blow around into the afternoon, causing difficult, if not impossible, travel conditions, particularly in open country. This will be followed up by an Arctic slap of air that will cause temperatures to fall, as we've been talking about, 25 to 50 degrees for many across the valley. There's some snow out near Glasgow, but we're watching the cold air pooling near Winnipeg that's going to be heading our way. So for tonight, get out and enjoy these temperatures and get your running around done. We're going to have temperatures in the very comfortable mid-20s this evening. Look at this grand sight from East Grand Forks. Beautiful conditions. Snow starts here by the time we talk again tonight on Valley News Live 10 at 10. So we have blizzard warnings in effect. We have winter weather advisories in effect for portions of our viewing area. We'll spell it all out in hour by hour detail on when things start where you live and the impacts you will have over the next 36 hours or so.
Okay, thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
And make sure you have the Valley News Live Storm Team weather app so that you can keep up with the weather anytime, anywhere. You'll get the latest forecasts and conditions so that you can plan your day. All you have to do is search VNL Weather in the App Store and download it for free. The owner of a Fargo Mexican restaurant is sentenced to 2 years of probation for hiring undocumented immigrants. Officials say Jose Ramon Gutierrez, who owns Mango's restaurant, could have faced 10 years in federal prison and a $250,000 fine for the charge of harboring illegal aliens. According to court documents, Gutierrez employed 2 cooks at Mango's from May 2018 to January 2019 who were working illegally in the United States. Officials say Gutierrez paid them in cash and kept them off the restaurant's payroll. One man is now in jail after police say he stole a car and ran from police in Moorhead. Authorities say they were tracking a stolen car from an earlier pursuit. The Metro Area Street Crimes Unit tried to take 18-year-old Abdi Ali into custody after he parked the car, but they say he rammed several squad cars and ran away. Police caught him, and he's now in the Clay County Jail facing several charges. 3 people are now in jail following a high-speed chase where deputies had to use a pit maneuver to stop the vehicle on I-94. The Clay County Sheriff's Department says it happened just after midnight in Moorhead along 8th Street and I-94. Officials say the driver refused to stop and took off westbound on I-94, going at least 80 miles an hour and eventually heading into Fargo where they were stopped. The 3 people in the vehicle face a range of charges, including fleeing police and possession of drugs. A hot debate on Capitol Hill today centering around whether student athletes should be paid for playing in college sports. The Senate Subcommittee on Manufacturing, Trade, and Consumer Protection held a hearing titled Name, Image, and Likeness, the State of Intercollegiate Athlete Compensation. Last year, the NCAA said it would allow athletes to benefit from the use of their name, image, and likeness, and is crafting rules to be put in place for its 1,100 member schools. Now, NCAA officials are asking Congress to step in as more and more states are following California's lead.
Our college athletes fuel the $14 billion industry that literally makes money for countless companies and agents, and almost nothing for the athletes themselves. We should ensure they receive equitable compensation.
A recent poll shows about 2/3 of Americans support college players being permitted to earn money for endorsements. Several mourners gathered to attend a funeral service today for Grant Lee Johnson. He's the 7-year-old who passed away last week from leukemia. Valley News Team's Callie Hubbard talked with many people who describe him as a happy-go-lucky kid. Here's what they had to say.
It's just good to know he's not suffering anymore, but it's hard.
Prairie Heights Community Church was packed Tuesday.
They're all wonderful people. Very, very misfortunate thing.
Close family and friends remembering the smiles Grant Lee put on everyone's face.
He was a little spitfire, so he was a little bit of a sass, but he was an awesome kid. Always optimistic and happy-go-lucky.
He was one of the most fun-loving kids.
His daycare teacher, Mackenzie Lehman, saying she's never met a kid like him.
He always was worried about everybody else. He always cracked the good jokes, and he was just always the one who was so caring to everybody.
Many trying to remember the happier days, like when he got to go to Universal Studios.
He had a blast. It was really a wonderful opportunity for him that he was able to go.
People from all over saying they're going to continue wearing their Grant Lee superhero shirts with pride.
It kind of inspired all of us about just, how lucky we are and how much he loved all the sports, just kind of not take it for granted.
In West Fargo, Callie Hubbard, Valley News Live.
Grant Lee is one of 3 West Fargo boys who have passed away from cancer in the last 6 months. The Fargo Police Department and community members are remembering the life of Officer Jason Mosier. On this day 4 years ago, Officer Mosier died after he was shot during a standoff in North Fargo. To honor him, the flag outside the Fargo Police Department was lowered to half staff. But today isn't the only day the department remembers Officer Mosier. They say his legacy lives on.
It's our responsibility to tell the stories about Jason, and so that those 61 new officers, and that number is only going to get larger, to understand the type of person that he was, that he isn't just a face on the wall, that his sacrifice meant something. We learned from that sacrifice, and I think that's the best way that we can honor Jason going forward.
Officer Jason Mosier served with the Fargo Police Department for 6 years.